Yeah, welcome back to the Truth Seeking Network once again. All right, y'all. So I'm just gonna get straight into this video. I'm not gonna try to beat around the bush. So y'all know what Donald Trump is now doing. He's talking about the basically these Native Americans, right? I think Donald Trump is basically calling them out, saying, "Wait a minute, are these people really Native Americans? And not all of them are these immigrants that's coming to America to be naturalized citizens born in America if they have a child born in America." But the question is, can you come to another country and then become those people? Because the only Americans, and even Donald Trump himself is an immigrant. He's from an immigrant or the people who invaded America. And so what we got a nation that's full of people that's coming here that came from other lands and took over America. For instance, and after 1871, I think it was Reconstruction during that time in America, where we have entities that have taken over America. And the original Americas, or the people who America belongs to, are the so-called African Americans. And now the truth is coming out all across the internet. We have been putting this out for a while now, and the truth is coming out, and it's real simple history. And there's no offense to nobody else, but we have to stand now telling the truth. The offense was against us. The lies was against us by calling us all these other names, by taking away our land, stealing our identity, stealing everything that we had. So now we got to come up and tell it and wake the people back up again to the lies that were taught in school systems, through the government. This whole system is full of lies. But now the revelations is being unraveled at this time. And it's coming out all over social media. And the truth is coming out is undeniable truth. Who the true Americans are, who the true American Indians are. It has always been us, the so-called African American today. They have kept changing our names on purpose. But in 1870, around 1871, Reconstruction, they came up with a plan. And so now what you got, what we call the Fed today, is the international bankers have taken over America along with United States corporations. United States is not America. United States is the corporations that landed on America. And it has to do with the international bankers, where we have the Fed today, and United States, which is the corporations. They have taken over this country and enslaved us all. And they also used the Catholic Church, which brought in Jesus Christ, which brought in their religion. And they always say separation from church and state, that's a bunch of bullcrap, because they need people to be fall under the influence of Christianity to so they can subjugate the people in the brain, in the mind. And that's exactly what's been going on, especially to our people, the American Indians, who call themselves Black people. Now, for y'all don't know, Black is an adjective. So it's colored, and all these are not a, it's not a noun, it's not a person, place, or thing. It's an adjective. Black is an adjective. Okay, so there's even not a person. So why are you calling yourself Black people? We're only calling ourselves Black people or Negro. All these names were given to us. And in the 70s, we became Afro Americans. So that then a few years later, we could become African Americans. But that's why the movie Roots was made, right? To convince us, to show that we actually came from Africa. And a lot of people bought into that story. But that story was a lie. You can look the story up yourself and find out that it was actually came from a man called Harold Corlander, a white author who wrote a book called The African. And he made that about 9 years earlier, before Roots. Alex Haley said that the Roots story was his full, true family story. And he gave an account of it, and it was Roots. And it was showing us in 1977. Roots aired, and it showed his family coming from Africa. And now we know that that was a lie. A lot of the parts of Roots actually came from his book, and it was a plan. I believe that, this is my opinion, I believe the government did. And look, it wouldn't be on TV if they didn't allow it to. Okay, The television tells a lie to your vision. Okay, that's exactly what it did. And for a lot of our people, they believe that story that we were stolen from Africa in chains and were brought here to this land, America. And that simply wasn't the truth. Because half the rights in 1978, Harold Corlander sued Alex Haley and won half the rights to Roots. But yet, year after year, they played Roots on TV as if it was real to our people. And our people in 1988 became African Americans for the first time by Jesse Jackson, saying that we came from Africa. So he called us African American. And then they made an African American museum in Washington, D.C. And so forth now on TV and everywhere, the name African American. And in 2015, Obama signed an act in 2015 that said some of those names, like Negro or colored, were offensive. So instead, now when you go back, if you go through the internet and you go through old articles, now you see the name African American inserted in there. So they actually went back in old articles when we weren't even called African American. There was no such thing as an African American before 1988. When I grew up, we were called Black people. And in the 60s, we were colored. And before that, we were Negroes. So now all those names have been taken out, and the name African American has been inserted way back when. So when the children now do the research in the history and they go back and look, they're going to see the name African American as if we were calling ourselves that the whole time. And so they did everything in their way, everything that they could to trick our people to believing that we are Africans. And we are not African at all. We are the indigenous Atlanteans, the Americans, the Niji that have been always in Turtle Island on this land, on this continent. And I'm going to say this even further. All of us on the Western Hemisphere, I'm talking about the islanders. They were already here from Jamaica to Haiti. All those island people, they didn't have to live in the States because we were traveling back and forth from those areas, from Cuba, America, through the main land, back and forth. Not from Brazil all the way up. This is the Western Hemisphere. And we didn't come on slave ships from Africa. We were always here. And they divided people by these names. But the truth is, those islanders, the Virgin Islands, all those areas down in there, they were all dark-skinned people, just same as we are. All throughout the Americas. But no, they told us a story that they stole us from Africa in chains and all this stuff. Evil people did this. So now we have international bankers, which is the Fed, and we have the U.S. United States Corporation, and that's what it is. The United States is a corporation that landed on top of the landmass America. And that's why we have corporations running the show today. That's why so many people are in debt today, because of the corporations that are now running everything, including the indigenous people, the American Indians, who you call Black or African American today. But the awakening has taken place. Donald Trump is actually showing that those Native Americans are not Native. And this is for anybody. It's not racist. Just go look. You can pull up any of the old information yourselves. I don't care what color you think you are, where you're from. You will see that who the American Indians are. And those American Indians, their lands were stolen. Like I just did in the past video, their cities were drowned or burnt out or just basically taken over. And the people were pushed off of their land and pushed into what we call the projects or the ghettos. Those are your real reservations of the American Indians. And I want to say this. During the 1960s, where were the Native Americans when the Civil Rights Movement was going on? If the Native Americans, and let me show you what a Native American is, in case you didn't know. Because I don't know, some of y'all probably saying, what is a Native American compared to American Indian, right? So I'm gonna put up the Native American. Okay, Native American people today. I'll get back to this one, Matt. Where were these people during the civil rights era? Where were they in the 1960s when everything was colored and white? Where were these people at? Hmm? These people think they are Native American. Well, they are. They call themselves Native Americans because we are the Aboriginals or the original American people. And we didn't live in teepees. We built houses. We had cities. We built pyramids. Our people built all this in this country. These people were the squatters. That's why they lived in teepees. They are Eurasians. They came across the landmass and came across. And a lot of these actually are $5 Indians. These are the people that made a treaty with the United States, including with white Europeans that were coming here and were paying $5 to put their name on the Dawes roll. But these people believe that they are the Native Americans, that this land was, they were always here. And no history in the past shows anybody that looked like them at all. None. These are supposed to be Native Americans. Really? This is a Native American. This is supposed to be the indigenous American people. And they are not. They are not the Aboriginal. They are not the copper color races. And I want to say, stress this: copper color races. Why? Because it was different shades of copper, different shades of copper colored people, and it makes a difference, a huge difference. But these people are now claiming to be um, the people or the land. And even when I went to school, in the 70s and the 80s, these children, we didn't see no Native Americans. They didn't go to school with us. Matter of fact, nobody I know even knows I'm Native American or with the Indians. We just saw them on TV, with the cowboy Indian movies. That's where we saw them at. But in real life, out here in the real world, we didn't see no Native Americans. We had some Spanish people that came from a few Spanish people. This guy's an American Indian. He's a European, blue eyes and everything. How did he come up? How did he come off the ship looking like this? How did he call another white man a pale man when he just as pale? And I know no offense, but look at him. But these are the American. Donald Trump is right to question these Native people. These are not Native. These people are not the indigenous American Indians. They are not. None of these people. Because they didn't look like this. This is what they gave us. So they're saying that was never us. But these are the Eurasians that came across later on. They lived in teepees. They were squatters. Look at this. Native Americans today. Really? They came off the boat. So you want to believe that this is what they saw when Giovanni Verrazzano got off the boat and he claimed to saw people like that look like Ethiopians, right? Sarota Raleigh, all these other people, all the ancient books they show you, even Columbus, they show you that they said dark-skinned black people that look almost like, they call them African or Ethiopian or Negro. Are these Negroes? No. Do these people look at this. Really? A Native American. And the shit, and they want to say this land belonged to them. That they were the people that were here. But nowhere deeper back in history do you see these people. These people were created by the United States government. And they are part of the corporation. And I'm gonna play a part of an old video and it's not going to be for me. It's going to Chief Calinago. When Chief Calinago, he calls up the American Sun. That's his name. Chief Calinago did a great video because he actually called up the Cherokee Nation. I think it was the Cherokee Nation, and he made a video. And I'm gonna put this in this video as well, and I'm gonna let y'all listen to it. He talks to the man directly. And a lot of these people, Europeans, came to America. It was the early 1900s, late 1900s, late 1800s, early 1900s. They had to sign the Dawes Roll, and these people paid $5. That's why they call $5 Indian. They pay $5 to be an American Indian, to be classified as American Indian. Okay, and so when you hear the video, you're going to hear them say that the lady going to say only the people who signed on the Dawes Roll can be Indian. So if I had an ancestor that signed on that Dawes Roll, then that's the only way that we can be classified as American Indian today. Even if my family members, so Chief Calinago asked him in the video, well, what if one of my people did sign the Dawes Roll? Am I not still an Indian by blood? And then she said, we don't go by blood. So then how can I get my name to be an Indian, he says. Do you consider people that look like me as an Indian? And it's called by his skin color, which we now call Black or African American, which they don't. So now I'm gonna ask you this. If in order for people to become an Indian in America, and they had to sign on the Dawes Roll, think about this. What if people didn't hear about the Dawes Roll? Understand this. If these people were here, if these were the American Indians, look at my screen. If these people were here, just like in China, there would be millions of them all over the country, in the woods, in the mountains, by the seashores, everywhere. So you got to tell me that if they didn't sign on the Dawes Roll, in order for you to become an American Indian, you had to, or Native American, you had to sign on the Dawes Roll. And then again, this was done through the Corporation of the United States and these Cherokee 5 civilized tribes. And so all the other people, so now let's think about this. So if only these few people signed on the Dawes Roll, there should be millions of them out in the boondocks everywhere claiming the American Indians, but I guess they can't claim it. Why? Because they wasn't on the Dawes Roll. So then what do they become? What race do they become? And I'm gonna tell you what they did. They made sure they got white and these Euro Asians, and they made a deal with these people. And that's why they pay them today on those reservations. They made a deal with these people to say that these are the American Indians, because everybody else became colored. If you wasn't white, you were colored. And if you wasn't on the Dawes Roll, you wasn't an Indian. That make sense. There's been millions of them. When I went to school, I should have went to school with millions of Indians. Because if this was their land, like China, or if you go to any other nation, you got people, there's so many Chinese people. You go to Japan, all you see is Japanese people. If these people were on this continent, they would be everywhere. But where were they doing the 60s? Where were they doing the 60s when they had the civil rights movements? Why weren't they fighting for civil rights? Where were they at? It was always been black or colored and white or whatever you call it. These people didn't show up. If it was their land, they should have. But you know what? In the early 1900s, 1800s, 1900s, it was black cities that were drowned. It was black, so-called, and I hate using the word black, because that's the only way I'm going to get some of y'all to understand. But these are the American Indians. The black people are the American Indians, okay? I'm going to say that. Just like the American city, Tulsa, Oklahoma, what y'all call Black Wall Street. They were jealous and they bombed it. Where was the Native American city? Lake Lanier. Where were the Indians at? Where were these people at? Where were their cities at? That they wasn't there. And during the Civil War, so-called, it was blacks and it was against blacks and freeing the slaves. Where were the Indians? What were they doing? How come they had no cities and lands? I forgot. They were all on the reservation, right? You took a whole nation of millions of people and you stuck them all on a little reservation. And and this is what they've been selling to people. And people have been believing all these years. And these people acting like they are the Native American, the people that came off the boat. When the people came off the boat, they saw them. But none of these people were seen like this. Native Americans. So that's why Donald Trump is questioning them, because he knows the truth about these people. They can put all this stuff on, throw all this garb up and do what they're doing. But these are not the indigenous Americans of America. These are not the people that were here. They were the so-called Negro people. And all the history, the real history, shows you that and tells you that. Copper color people, let's look them up. These are copper color people. And it easily shows that. All the old pictures of America show black original, 35 black original of America, copper colored people. Now these were done back in the day, and there's no Native American stuff that's like this. None. They don't exist in early America. Look, they don't exist in early America. This is what an Indian was supposed to look like. But they didn't exist. So as you go back, if you go back and see, you can check it all out for yourself and see all these images of America back in the day, of the copper color races that were here, were us. See? Look at this. Pictures depict us. Where are the Native Americans? Even the Aztecs were froze. Look at this. And I'm thinking the last two living Aztecs. And look, this is the old picture. America. See that? Oh, per se. You see this right here? America and Europe. Look at the difference between the two. When they came off the boat, when the Europeans came here, they saw America. Look at that. They saw American people. Let's see. Get this out of here. All right. So all these pictures depict America. So where were the Native Americans at, y'all? And these are old pictures, right? Look at this one, 1641. Native Brazils, 1641. Then the Africans. See, I said all through the United States, all the way up and down, Negro Indians in rebellion. And they call us Negroes. See, the Negro was another term that they called us. Look, America, 1700. Look. So the lies, it can't be hidden anymore, y'all. The Native Americans were always us. The so-called Aboriginals were always us. America, look at her. Look at the Indians, y'all. Where are these Indians today? So again, it's time that we wake up. That's why we don't want reparations. What would I want to do with reparations? And y'all, please stay away from them ancestry. That's why those stocks are going down, because it's lies. Every time you're from Africa, you're from the West Coast of Africa. Listen, Those are for entertainment purposes only. A paternity test, when you have a mom and a dad directly, you can test their paternity to see if that child is theirs or not. But you cannot do an ancestry test, because remember, I'm gonna play the video at the end of this, and you're gonna hear them say they don't go by blood. They do not go by blood, according to the Cherokee Nations, the five civilized. They don't go by blood. They go by who was written on that Dawes roll. So if you don't go by blood, then how are we doing ancestry tests today when we swabbing people and dealing with blood and telling people you came from Africa? And yet no African person is coming over from Africa looking for their long lost relative who was stolen. None. Look at these American tribes of these people. I don't want to put it around here. Just scroll down the pages, y'all. But this is the history they don't want to hide. They hide from everybody. Mm-hmm. Y'all take your time. I'm going to just scroll through the pages. And these are old. But nobody want to talk about, oh, you're going to hear that man say, oh, there's no black people in here. Yeah, because we're not black. A black, like I said, is an adjective. It's an adjective. Look at this. And y'all can do the research yourselves. It's real simple research. It's real simple research. So how do we become African Americans or black people? Now I said through religion, through Christianity, through the government school teaching. When they wiped out our cities and towns, they brainwashed those children, and they told those young children that we got y'all from Africa, that we brought y'all here on slave ships. And if once you lose your history and you don't know who you are, and you got another enemy or it's a person telling you your history because it benefits them, and they tell you we brought you on slave ships, and then you're going to tell your children the same thing, that same curriculum. But thank God, thank the Most High that we had people here in this land who knew the history, our grandmothers, our grandfathers, and they told it to us. Well, history, we knew the truth. My grandmother, 96-year-old, she said, we are not African. All of her older, and they're way older than I am. They all claim it, even at her funeral, we are not African. My father said it. We are not African. We have always been here. And you know what? When we went through the so-called ancestry, what do you call that? When you go through your history, find out our people have always been in this land. We have never, never, ever been on a slave ship, came from a slave ship, or came from Africa. And the same with my wife. We have always been here, and that's why there's so many of us here. There's so many of us here. When I went to school, this whole area from DC, Virginia, Old Town Alexandria, it was all chocolate. And the new day today, gentrification is the same as colonialization today. We call it gentrification. Our people are still losing their lands. And Michael King or Martin Luther King, he knew it too. That's why he said the Negro is exiled in his own land. He said that. Look at this. So what happened to the Indians, y'all? We're trying to steal somebody else's history, right? No, our history has been stolen. And it's time that we get it back. And also, let me take you back. We should not be paying taxes in our own land. We should not be paying taxes in our own land. Not at all. This is our land. We should not be paying taxes. Let's get to the 14th Amendment. See if I can pull that back up. And listen to this. It says, all persons born, Section 1, 14th Amendment, and the United States is subject to the jurisdictions thereof, citizens of the United States. See, the United States, when they took over, they are a corporation, and y'all can go look that up yourselves. Subject to the citizens of the United States and the state wherein they reside. No state shall make, and that's why another thing, when I say United States, that's why they united. These corporations united. And in order to operate or do anything in the state, the corporations run it all. And most people don't even understand that. If you need gas, if you need a driver's license, you need anything you need, you go to the store, what are you going to? A corporation, right? And the president is elected on top of the corporations. So the president of the United States, he's elected. And that's why right now, Donald Trump is dealing with tariffs and all these other things, dealing with other nations and stuff. And dealing with Wall Street, and have Mark Zuckerberg from Facebook and Jeff Bezos from Amazon and OpenAI and all these other people meeting them in the White House because he's the president of the corporations. The United States is the corporations. It says, no state shall make and enforce or any law which shall abridge the privileges of immunities of citizens of the United States, nor shall any state deprive any person of life, liberty, or property without due process of law, nor deny any person within its jurisdiction the equal protection of laws. Listen to this. Representatives shall be apportioned among the several states according to their respective numbers, counting the whole number of persons in each state. And that's like the census, right? Excluding Indians not taxed. See that? Excluding Indians and they're not taxed. And who are the Indians? Is the people on the reservation Indians today? The Native Americans? No. We are the Indians. We should not be paying taxes. I shouldn't be paying any taxes in our own land. All these businesses, these corporations, they're on our land. This belongs to us. From sea to sea or shore to shore, it belongs to us, the so-called African Americans. We should not be paying taxes. We don't want reparations because if you give us reparations, it's our whole country back. Everything that was stolen and was taken from us was built on our land. And we were lied to the whole time through Christianity, through all these laws, and that's why our lands are still being stolen from us today. But a great awakening is happening across this country. All these corporations have built their plants and their businesses on top of our land and made the indigenous people pay taxes and pay for all these services and bringing the immigrants and giving them better land and better services than we have. Police brutality. Planting drugs and guns and all kind of deceptive things in our neighborhoods. Abortion clinics to wipe us out. But you could never wipe out the indigenous people that's on their land. It's too many of us. And now the people are waking up. And the day of reckoning is coming. And I think that's what the King Alpha plan, and I'm going to do a video on the King Alpha plan after this one, or maybe sometime after this one. I'm going to show you that King Alpha plan. I'm going to highlight something that most people miss in that King Alpha plan. But anyway, it says, anyway, I just wanted to show that part right there about, it said excluding Indians not taxed. We are not supposed to be paying taxes. The so-called African American, the Black person, the Afro-American, the colored, the Negro, whatever name you wanted to call him, us. And so if you go by those names, Black, then Black has no standing in law. The American Indian has a standing in law. So that's why they took you from that name. They didn't want you to say that or use that. Do y'all know why a lot of our people were lynched and murdered? Because they were told to call themselves Black people or colored. And They were being lynched and murdered because they were holding on to their American Indian and heritage. They were saying, I'm Choctaw, I'm Blackfoot, I'm Cherokee. And our names have been stolen. And people were murdered and lynched, holding on to their ancestry. Y'all look that up. I'm not going to put it in this video. I've done it before. But I'm not going to have to, every time I say something, I'm not going to just drop it in the video because I'm tired of doing that. Sometimes you have to do the research yourselves. If you think I'm lying, you look it up for yourself. Okay? But nevertheless, this is what happened in this country. And the lies have been told in this country. It's a shame to see how people are just lingering around on the streets, no housing, last one hired, first one fired, laws made against them, the judicial system, the injustice system. Many of our people have been locked up for no reason at all. Just to be living in jail 30, 20, 36 years, just to be let go and then end up dying. There's so many innocent people right now locked up in jail. Y'all can watch all the police videos, all on YouTube, all on TikTok, the injustice that's going on out here. But that's why with that, I think it was the 13th Amendment. Let me look up the 13th Amendment was created. Let's see, the 13th Amendment. I think it was 13th Amendment. Look at this real quick. What does it state? What does it say? Neither slavery nor involuntary servitude, except as punishment of crime, whereof the party have been duly convicted, shall exist within the United States or any place subject there to their jurisdiction. And so whose jurisdiction again? The United States. What is the United States? A corporation. Do you get it now? So neither slavery nor involuntary servitude, except as a punishment of a crime, for a crime. And that's why people are being locked up. Our people were being locked up. Because if they could get you in jail as a punishment of crime, then you can use those people for involuntary slavery. So slavery can exist, and it does exist in the jails, nonprofit prisons today. You see that? So they made it an exception to the rule. Except in punishment of a crime, you can be a slave. You see that? So that's why this stuff is very important. So once you understand it all and start to put it together, you understand the United States is a corporation. And that's why police are there to protect and serve who? The corporations, not you. That's why if you go into a business, they're there to protect and preserve the business. They're there to protect the corporations, the corporate entities. The president is elected over top of them. But Donald Trump is calling out these Native Americans. And rightly so. And rightly so, he's doing that. Because those people are not the indigenous Americans. Because the original definition of American states what? Webster 1828, let's look at it. So y'all get to see it. A native of America originally applied to the Aboriginals or the original people or copper color races found here by Europeans. Now, this guy on the page, Noah Webster, is a European, without a doubt, but now applied to the descendants of Europeans born in America. Okay? There he is. Noah Webster. And it says, so now it's just, even in the definition itself, it shows you that our identity and our land was stolen. By who? Europeans. Europeans now call themselves what? Americans. And they call the so-called black people or African American. So they became the American. We became African American. And the so-called Euro Asians who came across the border, they became the Native Americans now. But they're not copper colored at all. They don't even fit this definition at all. So we have a Houston, we have a problem, don't we? They don't fit this at all. So again, now it says they do what? Copper color races. Why? Different shades of copper. Let's look at copper, right? Different, different, different shades of copper. Okay. I don't want to see. I'll do hair. Put the hair out here. Let's see that. Let's look at different shades of copper. Look at this. Okay. So these people are not copper, right? But look at these different shades, tones of copper. See, dark. You got light, all with different shades, right? Just like a penny. The patina changes with a penny. See that? Look. See the different shades? You got light, getting darker, 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 down till you get almost dark. And this is a copper coin. Now, their Indian on the Redskins helmet was copper colored, correct? That's why that's why they got rid of the Indian in the first place. And then you know the Birmingham. Let's see, look at the Birmingham. Yes, it's images. See that? That's not what I want to get to. Um, I should have say niggers. Let's do that. Then y'all can see it. Try this out. See, no Negroes, dogs, Negroes, Mexicans. But where was the Native American at though? See, that's what I'm trying to figure out. Why didn't it say Native Americans? Why didn't it say that though? So Google changed this page up some. Maybe I should put old Birmingham egg in. Let's try to put old in front of it. But they've been trying to cover up everything lately. I spelled Birmingham wrong, didn't I? Okay, let's do this. Birmingham. Let's see if I can. Here we go. Let's go to the old mascots now. See, they usually have them on here. I don't see them now. But it's in the Washington Redskin helmet. See, Indians. But see, look, Native American. Look at this. Native American. That's an old rendition of an Indian. And look at brown skin. They don't show them no more. They change it up. So let me say, how about Cleveland Indians? How about I'm sorry, Cleveland Indian? Because it's the same. The Birmingham Indian is the same as the Cleveland Indian. Okay. Let's start old Cleveland Indian. Oh, they took them off of YouTube. I mean, off. Let me see. Did they take them off? Oh yeah, yeah. But they took them off because it didn't look like this. This is a newer rendition. I'm trying to see if I can find the old one. Come on, come on. Oh, you Indian. Okay. Let's see, niggers. So, see, 50th era Indian. Look at that. You see that? That was a toy back in the day. You see that? Look at the brown skin. But they knew this back in the day. It wasn't a thing back in the day. Let me see if I can do this. So on my old videos, I would be able to pull this up and y'all would be able to see it. They would show you they would show you the people in Indian. Let's see. There we go. All right. See? The Negroes. There we go. This is original Birmingham niggers. This is what I was trying to find. See, it later on became the Cleveland Indians. But this is what they were called at first. The Birmingham, see that? And now it became the newer mascot. The Birmingham niggers. And they were brown. See? But then it became from this color to this. Look at this, y'all. See the bow and arrow? This nigga's head in direct crack shot. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Now look at the bow and arrow. See, the nigger had the bow and arrow. See, they always projected this with a bow and arrow because they were the Indians. They were the Indians. Oh, we are the Indians, put it that way. They were. So why is this hidden today? So y'all can see it clearly. See, the bow and arrow. There's the quiver on the back. There's the peace pipe in his mouth. There's the Indian feathers right there. But it shows that. So why is a nigger associated with the Indian? Y'all see this? So I'm showing y'all the truth of what's going on and what's been happening. Okay, we are the indigenous American Indians, and that's why I don't call myself black. I don't call myself colored or African American because my people never came from Africa. And that's something that I know. And I'm not going to let nobody else name me or rename me to something that I am not. We have always been in this land, and it's time that everybody knows it.
Big designation. And as we are fighting hard to get birthright citizenship or automatic citizenship for the children of illegal aliens, that's another way. It's automatic citizenship for children of illegal aliens. That's the other term that they use, which is actually more accurate, more understandable. And it's ridiculous. We're the only country that has it, and certainly the only country that has it to that extent. And it wasn't meant, if you look, it was really meant for children of slaves. This is when it happened. The children of slaves. It was not meant for everyone to come into our country by airplane or charging across the borders from all over the world and think they're going to become citizens. It's not meant for that. It wasn't meant for that. And hopefully at some point the courts will understand that without having to go through a whole big deal. This was meant for the children of slaves. And look at the timing of it and you'll see. And I hope judges will understand that.
Mexico is extremely racist. So we have what are
To Guatemalans.
even to its own Mexicans. So you got to remember, Mexico was dominated by Spaniards. The only reason I look the way I look
Yes.
is because I'm 65% Spaniard.
Yeah.
Mexicans, like real Mexicans, or which is known as Mexica, not Mexico,
Yes.
Mexica, are 5'4", super dark with big noses and the heads pushed back. Aztecs and Mayans.
Like Indians.
Like
you mean?
Indians.
Yes.
Well, we're natives, right?
Yeah.
So we're blended. So the reality is in Mexico, till this day, if you are not light complected, somewhat tall, you're frowned upon to this day. And by the way, they're very open about it. It's not like it's a secret. It's not like it's a hidden.
Yeah.
You're short and you're dark, and we don't like you. So the fact that it's so funny to me that Mexicans cry racism when they practice more racism in Mexico than America practices on anybody else. Just
when my family came up around Homer, Louisiana, they migrated during the time when things was rough for the Indians, so they came to New Orleans, and they passed off as black because they was dark skinned. And they never even talked about it. They never mentioned it because, they were scared because they didn't want to get sent to the reservation.
Man, get in here, get in here, get in here. Oh, this just came in my inbox. And one of my viewers was like, Getty, you need to explain this because there's something weird about this. And I'm looking, and I'm like, what's weird about this? And he also donated $1, and I greatly appreciate it. But I got to go into this in great details. But if you like to donate $1, I greatly appreciate it. But watch what Trump did for the so-called Black Americans and the secret behind this so-called 14th Amendment. Excluding Indians, us, which is us. Trump administration questioned Native Americans' birthright citizenship in court, right? Why did Trump do that? Let me show you. Now, I did not know between the 1866 Indian Peace Treaty, the statement that the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendment are considered the second constitution for African Americans, which is Indian, not taxed, right, is largely accurate. So we got our own amendment. So Trump went to court, was like, hey, these are Native Americans that had birthright, right, citizenship. Let me tell you, you can't be a citizen and indigenous at the same time. We only indigenous. This is why Trump went to court to say, hold up, no. These are immigrants can get deported. So when ICE come get you, throw your hands up and don't run and comply like you told us. So this let you know that we are the indigenous, excluding Indian not taxed, which is us. So if you'd like to donate $1, I greatly appreciate it.
Since 1942.
Everything you got from us. Did you a voodoo slave girl who graced us with her black magic? She couldn't tell a love potion from a recipe for chocolate chip cookies if she had to read it. You made her a slave. Before that, she came from a great tribe, the Arawak. She learned the secrets of the other side from a 2,000-year-old line of shamans, necromancy. She gave it to your girls of Salem. Everything.
Proof that the American Indians is black in 1 minute. According to this book right here, 1812. The Bahamas, when discovered by Columbus, are stated to have been inhabited by a numerous race of Indians of a mild, peaceable disposition, indolent in their habits, and little, if at all, accustomed to cultivation of the soil. They are described as being of a dark and dingy hue, with long black hair, and with their bodies painted with different colors. Now let's go see what the word dingy look like, according to Noah Webster Dictionary. American Dictionary of the English Language, 1828. Dingy, soil, of a dark color, or brown, dusky dun. Dun of a dark color, brown, and black of a dull brown color, swarthy. Now tell me, what color is he? Brown, or black.
You gotta see what Donald Trump has done, right? So basically, he went in there and he's showing you that he's questioning the natives because those Native Americans, by birthright, we are here indigenously to this land. We don't need to be citizens of a corporation of the United States because we are already indigenous to the land. That's why we should not be paying taxes. But this is right here. This is Giovanni Verrazzano. He was one of the first explorers that came into the Upper Americas in the 1524, as you see on the screen. And I'm not going to read his whole story. I'm just going to get down into the nitty gritty real fast. And it says, we're here. I'm going to get down where we go. He said, okay, let me start about right here. So we anchored off the coast and sent small boat into the land. We had seen many people coming to the seashore, but they fled away when they saw us approaching. Several times they stopped and turned around to look at us in great wonderment. Now, this is, you see the east coast of the United States. Just look at the picture. We assured them and with various signs, and some came up showing great delight at seeing us and marveling at our clothes, our appearance, and our whiteness. You see that? They were marveled to see a white person. Y'all see that? And clearly, now you see. So the Native American today, if there was the Native American standing there, they wouldn't have been marveled at seeing white people or Caucasian people. Why? Because they look the same. But this says, again, we assured them with various signs that some of them came up showing great delight at seeing us and marveling at our clothes, appearance, and our whiteness. So what color were they if they were marveled at seeing white folk? They showed us with various signs where we could most easily secure the boat. And they offered us some of their food. They were not savages. We were on the land, and I shall now tell you, Your Majesty, briefly what we have learned about their life and customs. They go about completely naked, except around their loins, they wear skins of animals like martens, with a narrow belt of grass and the body, to which they tie various tails of other animals, which hang down to the knee. The rest of the body is bare, and so is the hair. Some of them wear garlands of bird feathers. They are dark. Now, Native Americans, are you dark in color? See, we don't need to have this debate anymore. These people on the reservations are the indigenous Americans. They are not. For it says, when they saw the people, they are dark in color, not unlike the Ethiopians. They compared us to Ethiopians. They were dark in color, with thick black hair, not very long, tied back behind their head like a small tail. As for the physique of these men, they were well proportioned, of medium height, and a little taller than we are. They have broad chest, strong arms, and legs, and other parts of the body are well composed. There is nothing else except they tend to be rather broad in the face, but not all. For we saw many with angular faces. They have big black eyes. Now, who does that sound like to y'all? Does that sound like the Native American that's on the reservation today? Or does that sound like the so-called African Americans? And attentive and open look, they are not very strong, but they have sharp cunning and are agile and swift runners. Name me a Native American that's on the U.S. track team. Name me a Native American that is playing on the U.S. football team that we all know about today. Name them. Who is fast and agile runners but us? The so-called African Americans, which are really the American Indians. So I'm not going to spend much time on this. Y'all can look these things up yourself. And all the explorers, where you go to different books, you all hear the same thing. So where did these Native Americans come from? Because they were not depicted or seen. And this was 1524. and 1524. And just like he just showed you about the garland feathers and on the head, like I showed y'all with the tobacco packages and all that. I'm not going to go through all that again. So now what I'm going to quickly do, I'm just going to go to the video. Like I said, I'm going to let that be the end of it. This is Chief Kalinago. I put this on my video maybe a few years back or so. Can't remember when, but I want y'all to hear it now once again because it needs to be heard. But I need y'all to understand that this is the truth. And there's so much, I mean, I can't get all the documents. There's so much more out there to prove who we are. And we shouldn't have to prove at this day and time who we are. A Chinese person don't have to prove who they are. A Japanese don't have to prove who they are. We know that all Europeans that came to America, they are European descent. They came from by invading or they came as immigrants. But the people that were already here is us, the American Indians, or the indigenous people here, the Niji, the Atlanteans, that we have always been in America. Turtle Island. We have always been here. We are the ones, and this is our country. This is our lands, and we are the only Americans. Because you only could be American if you came forth from the land originally. Just like a watermelon seed. If I take a watermelon seed from here and I plant it over in Africa, does the watermelon now become African? No, because it's still the seed still originated from here. So no matter where I go in the world, that always will be a watermelon. If that plant and that grows and it grows and it can grow in the area, it still will be originated from where? Here. No matter where I go. And just like an African who comes to America, when they come to America, they're still African. They're still from that continent. They have a place where they come from. They originated. Well, we didn't originate in Africa. We originated here. And there's a lie also is that when they talk about the all so-called dark-skinned people came from Africa, that is not true. That's called the out of Africa theory. And that's all it is a theory. We didn't all originate from Africa. We were all over this planet. Some, like they said, some that you have Pacific Islanders that are dark-skinned people. We were all over this country, all over the world. The Aborigines of Australia, and they are the only Australians, by the way, is the Aborigines. But now other people claim to be Australian because they moved there. There's still Europeans that moved in and just stole and took over the land, the same over there. Are they now Australians? They claim it. But the true Australians are the Aborigines. And the true Americans are who? Are the American Indians, which is us. And I hope people understand that. And I'm talking about from South America all the way up. All of us who are indigenous to this side of the Western Hemisphere, we have always been in these lands. We were not brought here as slave ships from Africa. That's his story. And that story is being debunked at this time. So y'all, this is American Original Son. This is his channel. And this is his video. This is Chief Kalinago. He's a very good brother. I've been listening to him for some years now. Brother speaks a lot of truth. And I enjoy listening to him. And this video right here, I think to me, this is one of the most important videos that anybody should see. Okay? And he having a conversation with the Cherokee Nation. And I want y'all to listen very carefully to this video. This is very, very important because he's actually talking to this, he's actually talking to a few people in the video, but you're going to see now through the video where the lies come in at and where the truth lies at. And so without further ado, I don't want to speak too much on this, but I mean, he just does an excellent job. And this is a real conversation, a real interview that actually took place. And this is 5 years ago. Like I said, to me, this is one of the best videos that have ever seen and listen to, because he actually goes directly to the Cherokee Nation, and you're gonna hear all the facts that actually come out. So again, his name is American Original Son. He's still making videos. You can catch him on YouTube. This is Chief Kalinago, and I said, just give the feathers up for the chief right here, because he did a very good job on this video. All right, so I'm gonna just go ahead, without further ado, I'm just go ahead and let it play. Y'all enjoy it.
Greetings, peace, love, harmony, and light. This is Chief Kalinago with another video. Man, listen, I just had the most interesting conversation whatsoever. All right, so let me give you a prelude as to what this is about. Okay, a sister hit me up and said, "Hey, Chief, you know what? I've traced my lineage and come to find out that my family is actually Cherokee, right?" So I called the Cherokee Nation, trying to get, asking them about the application, how I could become a part of the member. And they said, "Hey, you know what? We don't have black people that's part of our nation." All right. So I was like, okay, well, you know what? Give me the information. I'm gonna call, because as you guys know, I had already done a video questioning, okay, the validity of the Cherokee Nation chief in Oklahoma. He has 132 Indian blood in him, but yet still he gets to be the chief. So today the Spirit led me to call the Cherokee Nation, and the conversation that follows is exactly what took place. All right. Now, whether they knew I was recording or not, I made it very clear from the beginning that it was on the record. Okay, so I do want them to hear that conversation, because you see, family, when you listen to this conversation very well, you will hear the semantics and the games that's being played. All right, you will hear the semantics and the game that's being played. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let you listen to it, because I don't want to give it away. Listen to, and I'm not talking about just listen. I want you to hear the conversation, because there's a difference between listening and hearing. You see, listening is physical, okay, but hearing is spiritual. So I want you to hear the conversation, hear it, let it resonate with your spirit and your soul, okay? And then you'll peep the game, all right? So the conversation that follows is exactly what transpired or what took place, okay? Once the video is done, then I will give my conclusion, all right? Peace.
Thank you for calling Cherokee Nation. If you know your party's extension, please enter it now. If you would like to dial by name, press the pound key. If you wish to speak to our receptionist during normal business hours, press 0 now or continue to wait while I transfer your call. Please hold for the next available operator. Lado. Cherokee Nation, may I help you?
Yes, good day. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing absolutely beautiful. It's a beautiful day. Just have a couple of questions, to put on my records, or in my record rather. I know you guys a Cherokee Nation located in Oklahoma, correct?
Tahlequah, Oklahoma.
Okay, and what is the name of your chief?
Bill John Baker.
Bill John Baker. Okay, beautiful. Okay, so I'm also Cherokee as well. So a quick question. Do you guys have any Cherokee members that are of the the dark skin, dark browns, the so-called black, so-called African American members?
Okay, I'm not sure. Let me go transfer to registration, okay?
Say that again?
I'm going to transfer you registration.
Okay, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Cherokee Nation registration may help you.
Yes, good day. How you doing?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing fine, thank you. They just actually transferred me to you. I have a couple of questions. Just some questions for my record. I'm also Cherokee, but I wanted to ask, do you guys have any dark skinned so-called black, so-called African American members?
Well, I mean, we have the freedmen. Is that what you're talking about?
No, I'm just talking about because a lot of so-called black people, we are Cherokee, so I just wanted to know.
Mixed blood? Is that what you're talking about?
Say that again?
Mixed blood? Is that what you're talking
No,
about?
not mixed blood. I'm Cherokee. I'm not mixed, if anything. I'm just asking, do you have any members that's so-called black?
I don't understand your question, I guess.
Okay, do you know what, okay, so you have an idea of what they call black people right here in the United States, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so do you have any members that are so-called black, but they're Cherokee?
Well, I still don't understand. I mean, you can't be black and you can't be, you got to be full blood.
I can't hear you. Say that again.
I don't understand I'm still not really understanding your question.
Okay, so all right. So how do I qualify to be a member of the Cherokee Nation?
You're saying you're Cherokee, but
Yeah.
you're black.
Yeah. Well, people consider me to be black, but I don't call myself black because I don't look black. You know, black is black. It's a color. I'm not a color. So,
What do you mean?
I'm brown. I'm brown of copper tone. I'm not black.
Okay, but that doesn't. You still have to prove what your race or your ethnicity is by your. We use what is called the Dawes Roll.
Okay.
And the Dawes Roll was established by the federal government,
Mhm.
and that was taken between 1899 and 1906 in what is now northeastern Oklahoma.
Okay.
And that was taken for the people who came over on the Trail of Tears.
Okay.
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 And they were able to sign that if they met the eligibility requirements back then.
Okay.
So if they were here and they met those eligibility requirements, they could sign up on there and get a roll number. Now, if we can trace a lineal ancestor back to the Dawes Roll, then you would be eligible to apply with the Cherokee Nation.
Okay, and when was that?
Or one of the other 5 civilized tribes or whatever that might have come over on the Trail of Tears.
Oh, okay, I get that. So when was that Dawes Roll taken again? In
1899 through
1899.
1906.
Okay. So I could trace my family here in the Americas way before 1806, but
we don't need to go back that far. I said 1899 to 1906.
So what happened
We're talking about 7 years.
Okay, so what happened?
We're looking at a 7-year time window.
So what I'm asking is, what happened to those of us who didn't partake in the Dawes Roll period?
Okay, then you would not be eligible.
You wouldn't be eligible, even if I'm American Indian.
Right. You had to sign up. Your ancestor would have had to sign up on the Dawes Roll. Correct.
Okay, and you said so so your chief is I think 132 Cherokee, right? Correct.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what it says, because I've done some research, because I've been trying to connect back to my roots, right?
Okay.
So if your chief is 132 Indian, then what is the other 32? Because if he's only 1%.
We don't have a blood quantum cutoff. We don't have a blood quantum. It all goes back to if you can prove, if you had a lineal ancestor that signed the Dawes Roll. That's what we use.
Okay, so
you can prove that.
So essentially, even if I'm full-blooded Indian, because I'm a full-blood Indian, all right. So even if I'm full-blooded Indian, because I wasn't on the Dawes Rolls, or my family wasn't on the Dawes Rolls, that means I cannot be part of one of the 5 tribes, correct?
Well, if they use the Dawes Roll,
no, we
5
didn't.
civilized tribes use the Dawes Roll.
Okay.
Okay. Now other tribes use different things as far as their eligibility goes.
Okay.
Go. But we happen to use the Dawes Roll. Yes.
Oh wow. To me, that's a little bit. I mean, I know it's nothing that you could do about it, but it's a little bit unfortunate because, again, my ancestors have always been in the.
That's what happened in the history. That's what happened way back then, and there's nothing we can do about it now. You know, that's what happened back then, and that's what. They had the freedom to choose if they wanted to sign those rolls back then. Some people did, and some people did not. But they weren't forced to sign them. They could choose to go on their way and not be a part of the Cherokee Nation, and they could do what live and be where they wanted to be.
Okay, all right. That's
true. I get that from your perspective, but and again, I just need clarification. So I really appreciate the fact that you're taking the time to share some of that information to me. So my next question is, are you aware or do you know that the Aboriginal people of all the Americas were dark-skinned people?
Can I transfer you to someone else that knows a lot more about this than I do?
Okay, yeah, okay.
I just answer the phones. Just a moment.
All right, thank you. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Registration. This is David. How can I help you?
Yes. Good afternoon. How you doing?
I'm doing well, thank you.
All right, cool. So you're the third person I've been transferred to. So I'm just trying to get some clarification, for my to put on the record. I'm Cherokee by blood pedigree. And I was asking, how do you become a part of the Cherokee Nation? So is there any way you could give me some information on that?
Sure. The process for enrollment with the Cherokee Nation requires an ancestor on the Dawes Commission roll, and that roll was made in 1902 in Indian Territory, now Oklahoma.
Okay.
And if you don't have an ancestor on that roll, regardless of how much Indian blood you may have, you are not eligible to enroll.
Okay. So, all right. So I mean, what you just told me is straightforward. So I guess my next question, it kind of makes it a little bit obscure because my family, they didn't participate in the Dawes Rolls. However, we have been in America from time immemorial. We've always been here. So that means I wouldn't be able to even submit an application and be accepted, correct? Because it's not done through blood. It's done through, so it's done through an organization and not through blood, correct?
That's correct. Yeah, our tribe is, and we have a constitution that we adopted in 1976 and then amended in 2003. And in that constitution, the Cherokee people who were organized at that time chose the Dawes roll as the sole source of proof for our organization.
Oh, okay. So with that being said, is it safe to say that even if someone wasn't an Indian by blood, okay, meaning that their ancestors have always been in the America, as long as they were able to get on that Dawes rolls, they are still considered Indian?
Well, they're considered a citizen.
Or they're considered a citizen?
Right. The relationship between the United States and the Cherokee Nation is not based on blood. It's based on treaties.
Okay.
So if someone's ancestors were members of the tribe at one time, but for whatever reasons they may have chosen to leave the tribe or forced out of the tribe or abandon the tribe, there's lots of scenarios. The tribe itself would have continued on.
Oh, okay.
And so the relationship between the United States and the Cherokee people is carried out through our government.
Oh.
And so we do have people in our tribe who are not Indians.
Okay.
We just got through with an extremely contentious legal battle with the descendants of our slaves.
Okay.
And so they won a federal lawsuit and are now enrolling as members of the tribe, even though some of them have Indian blood, some of them don't. We don't care one way or the other.
Okay.
What we care about is, are there ancestors on the roll that the core population chose in 1976?
Okay.
And that they are.
Okay.
And, we have people on our roll that are on there by fraud. We have, I found probably, I'd say about 5 or 6 families that their ancestors either bribed officials or, whatever the process was.
Okay.
But they got on the roll.
Okay.
And then stayed on the roll for all these years. And so by virtue of our choice to make the Dawes roll the sole source, they're in.
Okay.
One of those descendants is sitting right now on our tribal court.
Oh, okay. All right.
Drives me nuts every time I see him. But
yeah, I feel you.
It is what it is.
Yeah. So my next question would be, I'm actually, if someone were to see me in the streets without my, my indigenous attire, because, I wear my feathers and my regalia, every single day. Now, if I were to walk in the streets without that, somebody would assume I'm black because of my complexion. So you know where I'm going with this. Do you have any people who fit that description that's actually part of your nation?
Yes, you know, we have, as I mentioned, you know, the descendants of our slaves. They are now members of the tribe.
Oh, and they're descendants of slaves.
Right, they are descendants of slaves. Now, some of them do have Indian blood because the slave masters, you know, creeping in the slave house and producing children.
Right.
But those children were not recognized by any legal marriage.
Okay.
And so their descendants are not enrolled as Indians. They are enrolled as freedmen.
Oh, okay. And that's perfect. Great information, which brings me to my next question. Because I've done a little research again, you know, I'm connecting back to my tribe, and I'm a full-blooded Indian by blood, right? What that means is, are you aware that in the Americas, all over the Americas, I mean, we know that the United States was established on the American continent in 1776, correct?
Well, yes.
Okay. So before before 1776, there was no such thing as the United States. Is that correct?
Right.
Okay, beautiful. So before that, even before the 13 colonies and all that, even before the so-called transatlantic slave trade, are you aware that all the people on the American continent were dark-skinned?
Well, I know where you're going with that, and you know that's the Afrocentrism argument, and we don't subscribe to that.
Well, it's not a matter of subscription. It's a matter of, you know, do you know that it's a fact that the Aborigines of this land were dark-skinned? So therefore, if all the Aborigines of this land, and it's scientifically proven that they were dark-skinned, how is that other people get to claim to be Indians and then we can't because we didn't take part in the Dawes Rolls?
Well, the Dawes Roll was selected by the Cherokee people, who were the people who owned the Cherokee Nation.
Oh,
we
okay.
are the Cherokee Nation. And
okay, so is the same thing. So all right. So what is the original name for Cherokee?
You mean in our language?
No, it was Anionwea, right?
Well, that's the word for principal people.
Yeah, the principal people. So what I'm saying is Anionwea was changed to Cherokee. Is there a reason why you guys don't use Anionwea and now use Cherokee?
We do use that word among ourselves.
Okay.
In our relationship with the United States, the United States knows us as Cherokee, and so that's what the treaties say. So we go by what the treaties say when we're in dealing with them. Oh,
okay. So the United States pretty much decided to say, okay, you know what, we're not going to use Anionwea. Let's just create something new, and then we created Cherokee. In essence.
Well, that word has also a Cherokee origin, but it's the word Cherokee is an anglicized version of the Cherokee word Ajilaki, which means people of fire.
Right.
And so, you know, we don't mind being called Cherokees. We've been called that for 500 years, so we don't have a problem with that.
Okay. And before I conclude, again, I've done some research and I realized that no disrespect, and I'm here again just to get information. So I'm not going to disrespect your culture because I think everyone needs to be respected either way. So I'm going to respect that. However, I've done some research and I realized that, you know, your chief, it's John Bill something, right?
Bill John Baker.
Baker, yeah. So I realized, I found out that he has 132 Cherokee.
He's actually 332nds, but that's neither here nor there. He's still pretty much a white man.
Yeah, and I did a lot of research and realized that his ancestors is actually from Ireland and German and everything, but yet still he gets to be a Cherokee. And so how is that even possible?
Well, it's possible because his ancestors were citizens of the Cherokee Nation.
Oh.
Citizenship does not divide.
Oh,
it passed 100% from parent to child.
Mm-hmm.
And so his ancestors, who actually were Indians, I'm related to him distantly, but his ancestors were Cherokee Indians at the time of discovery. His ancestors were citizens of the Cherokee Nation at the time of the first making of the Treaty of 1783, and so they've been citizens of the Cherokee Nation ever since. So we don't base anything on blood quantum.
Yeah,
we
again, you
base it
said
on
that, yeah.
whether your ancestors were citizens of the
Association.
nation.
Because the research that I did, it shows that he's not Cherokee he's not even an Indian by blood, period.
Well, he is.
Yeah, but
He is an Indian by blood.
But so if he is an Indian by blood, that's what I'm saying is then he's supposed to be a so-called dark man because again, the dark-skinned people were the original Indians. So again, where did he get to be an Indian by blood
Well,
if he's not dark-skinned?
his ancestors intermarried with white people. That's
But he looks Caucasian to me though. That's what I'm saying. And when you say white, do you mean that white in the sense of
white European?
Oh, because they're different so-called looking white people. So again, that kind of like it's kind of like a word play. You know what I mean? It's semantics. You know what I mean? Because again, he looks white, but he may not be white European or Anglo-Saxon, but he's a white man.
I would say so.
Exactly.
If I saw him walking down the street, I would say, "There goes a white man."
There you go.
However,
that's what I'm saying.
However, our tribe is not necessarily made up of just brown or dark-skinned people.
Okay.
The Cherokee Nation is made up of citizens.
Yeah, and I get that. I totally get that, and I respect that. So again, so I guess all the Aboriginals, because would you guys consider yourself Aborigines?
I would consider us to be Aboriginals, and our government is an Aboriginal government.
Okay, so again, and once again, I mean, and it's not even Afrocentric because do you believe that? First of all, do you believe that life originated in Africa?
Life or
life?
Or
period. Human life.
No.
You don't believe that?
No, I do not.
Okay, it's great, perfect. So if life didn't originate in Africa, how is it assumed that all dark-skinned people are from Africa? I mean, when the sun shines all over the world and the equator actually runs between, the continent of Africa and the Americas, and everybody in South America was dark-skinned. So how is it assumed that every dark-skinned person is African?
I don't assume that.
No, I'm not saying you, but I'm talking about in terms of, because you said, when I mentioned that all the dark-skinned people in the Americas were dark-skinned, you said that's Pan-Africanism. But again, we are agreeing that life didn't originate in Africa and all dark-skinned people are not African. So what happened to all the dark-skinned people that were actually on the American continent from time immemorial? Why is that? Because we didn't sign the Dawes Roads. I know you say it's a governmental thing. So what do we do from there? Do we petition so that could be changed, or it is just something that's ironclad? You had to have been on the Dawes Roads, whether you are an Aborigine or not, because like I said, it's scientifically proven that all the dark-skinned people were actually in the Americas before any light-skinned, pale, anybody, and the first people on the planet, to be quite frank, were dark-skinned. So that means everybody came from the womb of the dark-skinned woman, and that's scientifically proven. Isn't that a fact?
Well, I'm not really sure where you're trying to go with that.
No, what
so
I'm
not going to agree or disagree with you. I just know that my ancestors, which are Cherokee Indians, have been on this continent for thousands of years. And that my ancestors are not Africans. My ancestors are American Indians. And the people who are claiming that they are American Indians that are actually black, we don't buy into that. That's just not who we are.
I know that's not who you are, because once again, of course, if people come into a land and they met people there and they happen to settle in, because remember you said your ancestors came, right? So they've been here for thousands of years, but before they came, there were people here. So you see what I'm saying? You see where I'm going with this?
Well, I see what you're trying to say.
No, not what I'm trying to say. I'm saying that I have the facts that, the people who actually call themselves natives right now, they haven't been here for thousands of years. So, and I know it's a he or say you think it is, but we have the scientific and we have the legal documents and historical documents to solidify and prove that fact. So, I get that you are saying that, to be part of the nation, it doesn't deal with blood quantum. It just strictly deals with citizenship. So again, anybody could just say, okay, you know what? Let us just form an organization and let us just deal with the United States and we could be considered native, but yet still the people who will have been here again for millions of years, because because my ancestors have been here for, I'm talking about, man, I can't even go back and pinpoint a time when my ancestors were not. You know what I mean? So at some point, you guys.
Because that's what you want to believe.
No, that's not what I want to believe.
I
but
think
you see,
the sad
what
thing
I'm
about that is.
So what I'm saying is this, right?
You've talked for about 20 minutes now.
Yeah,
so let me tell you what I think.
What you think?
What I think is that African American people have a personal opinion.
Okay.
I think a lot of African American people in this country have a lot of self-hatred. And so you guys want to be us because you don't want to be you. And so, we can't change who you are and you can't change who we are.
Okay.
Our relationships with the United States are our relationships. Our treaties are our treaties.
I totally.
If you want to run around with feathers on and call yourself whatever you want to call yourself, that's your business.
No, I totally get that. Hear what I'm saying? And again, I'm not here to debate. It's just strictly a conversation. And I'm glad we're having this because it's a conversation that needs to be had. Because once again, you said that life didn't originate in Africa. So why are you assuming that, based on what you're saying, it's safe to say that you're assuming that every so-called black person...
You asked me, did all life begin in Africa?
And you said no.
And I said no.
So my next question is, do you think that...
I asked you, I said, do you mean human beings?
So,
I
said
no.
This is the most appropriate question. Do you think that
black people originated in Africa, Indian people originated in the Americas, white people originated in Europe, and Asian people originated in Asia.
But all right, so here's my question. Do you think that every so-called black person is from Africa?
No, because there are some in Fiji, there are some in Melanesia, there are some in India.
Okay.
They're all over the place.
So what you're saying, you were saying that
I'm talking about the black people in the United States.
So here's what you're saying.
The black people in the United States came over on slave trips from Africa.
So what you're saying is that they from everywhere else on the planet except none of them was in America before slavery.
Nope, well, some of them might have been. I don't know,
But come on, brother. Come on. It's either they were or they are not. Because you see now you're being contradictory. Because if you're saying that so-called black people was on every other planet except America before the slave ship, you're saying that for some reason the sun didn't allow so-called black people to be in America before the slave trade. That alone in itself doesn't even make sense.
No, there were no black people here before Europeans got here because they brought you guys.
No, but guess what? Europeans didn't bring so-called dark-skinned people here. As a matter of fact, the first slaves on the American continent were Caucasians.
That's not even relevant.
No, it is relevant. It's absolutely relevant. It's absolutely relevant.
It's not. My grandmother, who was a full-blood Cherokee Indian, was dark-skinned. And if she had permed her hair, she could have passed for a black person in North Tulsa, which is our black community here. So, there were dark-skinned people here, but not all dark-skinned people are black.
But guess what? In fact, nobody's black. Africans call themselves black. We didn't call ourselves black. We are brown-skinned. So I don't consider myself black.
You guys had your own names for each other. I know that because you had your own tribes and your own languages.
So now you are actually admitting that before slavery there were dark-skinned people here.
There were American Indian here
I'm talking about in terms of complexion. There were dark-skinned people here. We know we are American Indians, but they were dark-skinned.
No, you all are not American Indian. We are.
But
you all are black people from Africa.
Listen, man. I see the game that you're playing, and once again, I'm just saying that the truth will come out to light, and the Creator, what I'm saying, will bring everything to light, and the truth will come out. Because the point I'm trying to make is, you're telling me that every so-called black person, dark-skinned person, was on the continent except America, and now you are telling me, well, some of them was here. Either they were or they are not. But then you're talking about black. I never said I was black. Black is a color that's really black. I'm not black. I'm brown. You see what I'm saying?
You're African.
So you're telling me I'm African, but you don't even know who I am, right?
I know what you told me, and
what I told you was what I said was my ancestors have been on this landmass from time immemorial. Not at one point I said I was African, but you assume that I'm African.
No, you told me that.
No, I never said that. I asked you, do you think that all dark-skinned people
and
are from Africa?
all of this line of stuff that you're telling me, We hear it all the time.
Oh, so I'm lying.
People with your views call us probably about once a month, and
no. You know, I'm calling, and like I said, that's why I said, I'm calling because it's for the record, because we have to make sure that again we get to the bottom of this, because I know I realize that there are so many different cultures that's here usurping, our identity. And then when we approach them, they tend to, again, evade the question and deal with it from more of an organizational perspective. Okay, well, you know what? This is what the United States said. We are the Indians. Oh, no, it's not what they say. It's what is. You know what I'm saying? But I totally get where you're coming from. It's an organizational thing. You don't have to be an Indian by blood to be part of the Cherokee, because the United States, hey, you know what? They're foreigners. They came here, they fought over, my ancestors. And when I say my ancestors, I'm talking about the dark-skinned people who was on this continent before even you guys came. And they had to put somebody in our place. And I guess it happened that way. But the truth will come out. That's all I'm just saying. And again, I appreciate your time. Thank you. You gave a lot of insight. And I got what I was looking for. So I appreciate that. And again, time will tell. Time will tell. All will come to light. So I hope you have a great day. And look out for us, because we are coming. All right?
Got our eyes
open. All right. Take care, man. I appreciate you. Thank you.
Yo, listen, I know y'all bugging over this right now, right? So I know you listened to the conversation, and I'm hoping that you heard the conversation. So you see how the game is being played. So you see the dude, whoever I was talking to, he was getting stuck on, caught up on the whole black, because you see, they know we are not black. So because the United States put us in a category of being black, so you see how I got him, right? Okay, I asked him, does he believe that life originated in Africa? He said no. You see, it's only you so-called black people who believe that bullshit, what they taught you, that life originated in Africa, okay? Because they want to put you in Africa, okay? You are the only people on the planet that believe life originated in Africa. That's number one. No other ethnic group believes that. All right. Now, he agrees that there were. So when I asked him, see, he was trying to play the game, the semantics with the word. I said, listen, I'm not black, man. I'm not black. I'm brown. Okay. All of a sudden, he still want to maintain that I'm black. And he wants to assume that I'm African because I asked him, did life originate in Africa? Now, that's what he's assuming. So I say, okay, you know what? Let me flip it around. I asked him another question. Do you think that all dark-skinned people, what you may call black, do you think all dark-skinned people are from Africa? He said, well, no, yes, some are from Africa and some of Australia and some of, Asia, whatever, all these different places, but not in the Americas. So hold up, you're trying to tell me that everywhere else on the planet had so-called dark-skinned people before slavery, except in America? That's what the dude was telling me. And I said, bro, I'm not black. I said, brown. He said, well, yeah, there was some brown people, but but not black. I said, well, I agree. I'm not black. So I'm asking him, do you think that you are an Aborigine? Well, yeah, we are the Aborigine nation, but it's a fact, scientifically proven, historically proven, that all dark-skinned people in the Americas, Aborigines are dark-skinned. So how can you be an Aborigine? But then here's the thing. When I ask about the Anion-Wea, they had to change the name from Anion-Wea to Cherokee because you see, Anion-Wea is the organic. That's where all the dark-skinned people, they were part of that tribe. You feel me? So the US government had to take that away from us. And now what they had to do, they had to create an organization called the Cherokee Nation. You peep the game because they're not doing it by blood. It's what the United States said. The federal government, it's a contract. Hence, their chief could be foreigners from Asia, wherever, because he didn't deny that his chief is a so-called white man. I was like, hold up. When I look at that dude, he's a white man. And the majority of y'all got the same complexion with him. Oh, well, he is Indian. So I was like, hold on, how could he be European and at the same time be an Indian when you're telling me in his family, he came from a family with Indians? And when I did my research, the man has no Indian by blood. So that's how they are getting away with what they are doing to us. It is not by blood. They don't care if you're full Indian by blood. They know we are the original people they call the Indians. But they set up a system where it's not by blood. So they talk about the 1902, Dawes Rose. Well, if you're going to prevent us from getting on the Dawes Rose, how are we going to be on the Dawes Rose? When, you help the colonizers, okay, to chase us out of our land, while we over here fighting for our lives, fighting for our land, doing everything else we are doing, do you think we had time to go and sign up for the Dawes Rose? And besides, a lot of our ancestors knew that it was a bunch of BS, so they didn't want to sign that anyway. So here you are. They put y'all on the Dawes Rose, okay? And now we are being excluded because we were not on the Dawes Rose. But even if you're, I mean, listen, man, y'all heard the conversation, man. Okay? And that's why we need to stop playing these games with these people. And that's why I always tell y'all, listen, man, you need to stop just talking. All the talking. It's time for some action. Okay? It is time for some action. Period. Because these people are not gonna let it go. You see how adamant he was, right? Oh, well, you so Africans and this and that. Man, listen, we just had the conversation. And you agreed that not every dark-skinned person is from Africa. But you're trying to make me believe that they're from everywhere else except the Americas. So you know what? The Most I said, listen, I'm gonna give y'all a planet, Mother Earth, that's hot. Okay, it's hot. The sun is hot. All right? And I'm going to put dark-skinned people because they get their color from the sun, you know what I mean? And they have this coherence, okay? This synergetic relationship with the sun. They are soul people. You're trying to tell me even all the way the equator goes through South America. You're trying to tell me the Most I said that now we're not going to put any dark-skinned people on that planet, on that continent? That's what dude is trying to make me believe. But when I catch him, okay, had him admit that dark-skinned people was already here, all of a sudden, well, they're not black. Bro, and that's how they're catching y'all people, by calling you black, and y'all don't get that. Okay? Because Africans were considered black. We never called ourselves black. But you Negroes, for some reason, you just want to be black. You want to be a color. And that's why these people are able to do what they're doing to us. Okay? They have the organizations established, and you are being excluded, exiled in your own home. But y'all heard the conversation. You be the judge. But I'm glad that the ancestors led me to make this call today to expose it. Okay? To expose it. But anyway, leave your comments below. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I heard things that's not there. But leave your comments below. And like I said, I'm just trying to link right now with people, man, that's ready to make moves, man. That's it. I ain't got time for the games. Period. All right? Because this is a claim right there. Okay? This is a claim. Okay? For one, it's a biased claim. Okay? Number two, it's a discriminatory claim. Because I told you I'm dark-skinned, you assume that I'm African. You feel me? But then you had to revert when I had to drop the science on you. And once again, it is scientifically proven, historically, archaeologically proven that every person on this planet was dark-skinned. So where all these light-skinned people and all these so-called white people, where did they come from? It's either they came from another planet or they came from the womb of a melanated woman. I rest my case. Peace.